Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for Monday, April 15th. We got tax day here, so everybody make sure you get those taxes paid. And then let's make some money in DFS this evening. All right, now, before we get into it, come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to everything we do, all the props, all the DFS. You get it all tools for all sports we cover, one low price. Now, let's get into the slate. We're going to start off by the perfect lineups for yesterday and the winning lineups on both DraftKings and FanDuel. So, I'm actually going to start with the FanDuel lineups because the transition is a little bit easier into the pitching. All right. Perfect lineup yesterday. We got Jose Barrios and then all one-offs after that. Took almost all the salary. Not even close, really. So, ton of value guys just went absolutely nuts, and that's pretty much what happens when with the perfect lineup. A lot of the times you just can't really project which value guys are going to go off night in, night out. Now, the winning lineup, Jose Butto had just an amazing night, put up 49, 9 Ks at 7,700. Then the other very interesting thing is Rene Pinto and Ahmed Rosario both went nuts. Pinto under 1% owned, Rosario only 1.5% owned. The guy that won, Butsilas, or I don't even want to figure out what his handle is. He was probably the only one in the entire contest that had those two guys. And if he wasn't the only one, there was probably only 2 or 3 of them. And the other ones probably didn't hit the rest of the lineup pretty well as well. So they had a 2-man Atlanta stack, 2-man Tampa Bay, 3-man Yankees, and then 1 Toronto and Justin Turner there. As you can see, they crushed second by quite a large margin. And second did not have the Tampa players. Now, get over to DraftKings perfect lineup and see what we got there. So over here, we got Barrios, we got Butto, Pinto once again is there, 2-man Cincinnati stack, and then 1-off. Cincinnati put up 8 and got it done. Yankees put up 7. Pitt put up 9. Houston put up 8. So a lot of teams did it pretty well. The winning lineup went to Ramsey, Dellinger, another spot where they had Pinto and Rosario that really kind of got it done for them. But their pitchers were different. It was Reagans and Barrios with a stack of this Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia game. 2-man Philly, 4-man Pittsburgh, and the obviously 2-man of Tampa, and won by 14 points. So congrats to them. They got it done. Let's get into today's slate. And you can find all of this on apps as well. It's just a lot easier on web to do these shows for. So, all right, pitchers for today. Tyler Glasnow, far and away the best option tonight. Projected the highest. His ceiling is the highest. He's in a good matchup. Ton of reasons to want to go there. It is not very often that you see the highest owned pitcher with a very high safety score and a high leverage score. It's just simply he is the best option on the slate. I mean, he's almost 4 point higher projected than anybody else from the pitcher. So makes a lot of sense to want to go there. I do expect him to be higher than 28%. I would expect him in the 30s, maybe 40s on DraftKings. And for good reason. Huge upside, 32% K rate. Washington striking out 25%. Combined K rate of only almost 27%. Washington's not that good. Glasnow is very good and just pitched an absolute gem last time out. Next, we got Joe Musgrove showing up. Musgrove has had a little bit of a tough start here. He has faced some good offenses, but it's a little bit rough rolling, and this Milwaukee offense is hitting the ball pretty well. They do strike out a lot, so there is some upside here. And the opponent splits for over the last 150 games. favor Musgrove. However, this team has been hot, and their last 20 game splits look real nice for Milwaukee and real rough for Musgrove. So this one can break either way. Now, Musgrove does have a lot of success versus Milwaukee in the past. Went 8 innings, 6 Ks versus them. 22 didn't face them last year. Did well also in 21. I think it's an interesting spot. I can see you going either way. Don't love the Milwaukee stack. Don't love Musgrove, but I don't mind it. I do think 28% is a bit too high owned, though. George Kirby is coming in next, 25% owned. I think this will be a little bit lower, as I do think Musgrove will be a little bit lower. But he is absolutely in consideration. There is some solid upside here. Cincinnati strikes out at almost 26%. While Kirby doesn't have a very high K rate, it is only 23.3%. He does strike out more at home. He strikes out almost one batter per 9 more at home than he does on the road. He's about a batter an inning at home. So his K rate is much higher at home. He is a better pitcher at home, averages 67% more fantasy points per game at home. So I'm absolutely in consideration of George Kirby here, even though he has had 2 very, very rough starts in a row. Combined K rate, 23.9. I'm willing to take some swings at lower ownership there. Seth Lugo is absolutely interesting as well. I do like him on FanDuel more than I do on DraftKings. The reason being, he just doesn't have big-time K upside. And on DraftKings, that means more than it does on FanDuel, because on FanDuel, you have that quality start bonus, which, that in itself is a couple Ks. So I think Seth Lugo is interesting. He has an amazing matchup versus the White Sox, who are just terrible. 110 ISO, 270 WOBA versus righties, strikeout at 21%. My only worry here is his ceiling at 8.4K. Absolutely willing to take some chances. LineStar likes him a lot with a 19-point projection at 2.3 X. So I'm 100% intrigued here. Going to have some, just probably not going to go too overboard. Montas showing up. I don't mind Montas. Absolutely willing to go there. Seattle's been bad, so willing to take some chances of him. My only worry here is he just doesn't have much upside. 4, 5, 4 Ks, so that strikeout rate might not be there, but we do have a combined K rate of 23.7. I just wish he was a little lower price. 9K is a bit expensive for me with a guy that doesn't have a huge K upside. Sonny Gray, he is in an amazing spot versus Oakland, but limited to 75 pitches. He went only 64 last time out. Now, he is very efficient. Last season, or last 20 starts, he's averaging 85 pitches a game. And, with his 85, 93, he went 6 innings. 81 goes 7 innings. He is extremely efficient, so he can get it done at 8,500, but that limit just takes away a lot of the ceiling, and that's what I'm worried about. The spot is amazing, though. Oakland's terrible. They strike out a lot. 27.5% combined K rate. He's really going to have a very efficient game and have like 8 Ks and 6 innings and 75 pitches, which just doesn't really happen to, be optimal. So there is a path, but it is a thin line he will have to walk to make it happen. Merrill Kelly and Bassett, don't mind either of them. Don't love either as well. Both of them are in tougher matchups. Bassett does pitch better at home, as does Merrill Kelly. I am willing to take some shots. Not going to have a whole lot of them. Luis Gil is the last person I really want to highlight here. The whole reason is the K rate. 7,400, 26.6% combined K rate. That's a glass now type K rate. His K rate is 30.6. So I'm very intrigued to go with him. But, big but here, is he hasn't been able to work deep into games. 4.2 innings on 84 pitches versus Arizona. Versus Toronto, last week, 95 pitches, 4.1 innings, 8 Ks. The K upside is there, but he has to be more efficient, has to work a little deeper into these games, willing to take some shots, a very low ownership with his K rate, but it's he needs to be more efficient, and we just haven't seen that yet. At least yet this year. Getting over to FanDuel on the pitcher side. All right, so Tyler Glasnow, George Kirby, 2 highest owned. Glasnow I do expect to be like 50% owned on FanDuel. He is far and away the best option, and I mean, 5-point higher projection over anybody else is a lot. So willing to pay up for that. He's super high owned, but once again, leverage, safety, all look good for him. George Kirby's next. Willing to take some Kirby, as I said, on the DK side. Merrill Kelly at 10Ks, a bit too expensive for me in this spot. Seth Lugo, I am absolutely intrigued with. The only thing here is this upside is not there. You know, he cannot go toe-to-toe with Glasnow on the upside. So how he becomes optimal over Glasnow? Glasnow goes 6 innings, has 8 Ks and not 10. And then doesn't get a win or doesn't go 6 and doesn't get a quality start. Lugo will have to get the win, have to get the quality start bonus, and, you know, be able to have 4 or 5, 6 Ks to be optimal, which it's absolutely possible. He just doesn't have much K upside. 4 Ks, 3 Ks, 2 Ks, 22% K rate over his last 20 starts, but only 17 over his last 5. So that's the issues there. I do really like Lugo, but there's a narrow line for him to walk to be optimal at 9,600. Musgrove is intriguing at only 8,300 and at low ownership, as well as Montas and Gill and Bassett. So let's get over to stacks now and check the stacks out. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. He is stuck outside trying to get inside right now. All right. Highest fit pitcher, Darius Vines, to take Houston. Just getting that out of the way now because we're here. So, our highest owned stacks, we got the Mets, we got the Royals, and Braves are in here. I think it's very interesting. So, Martin Perez does pitch much better at home. He is away right now. So, it gives, some reason to want to stack the Mets here. I have big time concerns with that, though. 1, they're high owned. 2, they're a team that, only steals a little bit. They only have a little power. They really need to kind of slap hit, and it's real hard to put up 8 runs from just slap hits. And I think the most likely outcome is, 3, 4, 5 runs from the Mets, and they don't really get there as far as a stack. I'm totally fine with smaller stacks of them. I don't love the big time stacks. KC, I absolutely like today. White Sox are calling up a pitcher from the minors, and he's not that great. That's a lot of hard contact, a lot of extra bases. So I like a lot of KC, and KC can really, really score fantasy points in a lot of different ways. Stealing bases, hitting home runs, getting extra bases, all of that. They do it pretty well. I'm absolutely intrigued with some KC, even at a little bit higher ownership. Values there, ceilings there. Don't mind taking some. Gotta like the Braves today. I think the Braves are in a great spot. Houston's bullpen hasn't been good. Their starter today isn't really one of their starters. They had to call him up. Houston's just been beat up, and I don't mind taking some swings on Atlanta. I think that game, this Atlanta-Houston one, is very, very intriguing. If the Cubs and Arizona fail, meaning they don't go over the 9 game total, this game has a game total 2 points higher than anything else. So I think that there's very good chances of at least 1 or 2 players in this game, this Braves versus Astro game, that become optimal. And let's go to the highest projected. So highest projected, it's likely going to be Braves. It's likely going to be Dodgers. Astros might sneak in there a little bit. And all Braves, all Dodgers. Ton of Braves lineups in here. You know, the one thing with Braves and Dodgers, they're very expensive stacks. So you're going, you know, Glass now is kind of out going that way. But if you want Glass now, you could always have very, very cheap, you know, last 3 guys or whatnot to fit him. But it is going to be difficult to have Tyler Glasnow and then a Dodgers or a Braves stack. But those 2 stacks are absolutely coming in at the higher projected stacks, and for good reason. Mitchell Parker, he just got called up versus Washington. Dodgers are going pretty low owned. I think it's very, very intriguing to go that way. And obviously, I think the Braves are in a good spot, as we already covered. And getting over to the top value for today. Washington, all over the top value. I don't love it. My thing with Washington, it is very rare that Glasnow is going to give up 6, 7, 8 runs on his starts. That just doesn't happen very often. Can it? Absolutely. Now, Washington's going to be totally unowned. The reason you are playing Washington is nothing stat-wise. It is 100% game theory. It is the fact that Glasnow is going to be super high owned. There is giant leverage by taking a Washington stack. If it happens, you're at the top of the leaderboard. But it is a big if, not likely to happen. White Sox popping up versus Lugo a little bit. I don't like it. Lugo doesn't really get crushed often. Yeah, he might give up, 2, 3 runs, but those 6-run, 7-run things doesn't happen very often like Glasnow. But I think the White Sox are even a worse offense and just don't really want to go there much. Now, let's get over to the ceiling. Ceiling-wise, we're going to see Dodgers. We're going to see Braves. Houston probably is popping up in this one as well. And Cincinnati is popping up. Cincinnati, I did not expect to show up here. They are super low-owned. There is that big-time ceiling. They're another team that scores multiple different ways. They can steal bases. They have some power. George Kirby is a very good pitcher, but been off for the last couple days. So there are at least some reasons, both leverage-wise and stat-wise or number-wise, that you may want to take some Cincinnati guys. So I don't mind going there. Obviously love Atlanta. Houston's in a great spot. Darius Vines, not that great, and just got called up. I mean, Houston, very good offense, could absolutely get to Vines, and Braves bullpen is good, though. That's the one negative for going with Houston. And FIP-wise, it's going to show up Vines there, so we don't need to get into that one. But what I will do is bring up some bullpen numbers. So Atlanta, you can pick on Houston's bullpen. You can pick on Washington's bullpen. The ERA has been good, but this whip is high, which tells me they're letting a lot of guys on base. Not something you want to do versus the Dodgers. Cubs' bullpen hasn't been great. San Diego's bullpen's been bad. Toronto's bullpen has been terrible. Add some favor into, wanting to stack the Yankees. If they can get Bassett out quick, they could definitely tee off. And White Sox bullpen has not been very good. Leads more to wanting that KC stack there. So all in all, very interesting slate. Let's make some money and hope you guys have a good one. Good luck. Adios. Make sure to please like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Peace.